little update then about how the tomatoes are doing from seed. See now they've got their first set of leaves just about to make the second set. On there. Not going to do anything with these at the minute apart from just giving them a drop of water because they are on this is a heated pad to keep the temperatures up, especially through the night. Not doing anything with them. Take that seed over there. No. They've come up, the germination rate's been better. I expect all these will come in the end. This is Gardener's Delight, so it's a fairly tough variety, but they are small to start. Where this one is Rubilicious, one I've not grown before. Looking forward to that. And then Alicante, very reliable variety for growing, and Shirley. There's some peppers just starting to come through. Some more Rubilicious, and these are the ones I sowed first actually. Sun Gold, Akron, an F1 variety, and the Crystal H1 hybrid. There's only a couple of those have come out, which I've got to be honest, I'd be disappointed with if I'd bought the packet of seeds for 3 or 4 quid, whatever it was, and only 2 seeds came out. That's Garden Pearl. Those are just coming through just now nicely. The last few days and that's Gardener's Delight, a good one. So I'm not going to do anything with these yet at all. Just leave them exactly as they are. Leave them grow. And what I'm going to be waiting for is them to get some roots and to fill these little cells with roots, and then I'll transplant them into bigger pots. But that's going to be not yet. Right, good. A bit of progress. Let's see now. About 12 days I think since I put these in. Yeah, something like that. Just need a bit of warmer weather still. We'll come back to them in a bit. So here we are. How to grow tomatoes from seed, part 2. These are the ones we planted in part 1, obviously. And now it's been about 3 weeks. It's been an unusual year in respect of it's been quite cold, even though these are on a heat pad, and the main thing, the lack of light. The sun's shining a little bit today, but for the middle of April, it's the what is it today, the 10th of April, something like that. The amount of actual sunlight, bright sunlight, that these plants really require to get going has been pitiful this year, 2021. Anyway, be that as it may, I think these plants are nearly ready for us to put into their next size home, which will be a 9cm pot. Let's have a look. What I'm going to look for, any sign of any roots at the bottom. There's just the slightest hint, probably. Can you see that on the camera? So they're not massively overrooted. I think they're probably just about right. So they've got the first set of leaves they come out with of the seed but then they're starting to develop recognisable tomato leaves. So I'm going to do just very gently. It's easier if they let the plug dry out a little bit. Just tease them up by the first set of leaves. Oh yeah, and they've got a nice little set of roots going on there. Ooh. I could probably leave them for a few days, but we will get onto those very soon this week and get them into a pot. Let's just squeeze that cell a bit. I did water them this morning, and that makes the compost swell out and be a bit tighter in the cell, I suppose. I've not let them dry out the whole time, obviously. There we are. So I might leave them for a day or two just to put a bit more root on it. So if we get a bit more sunshine, it will help massively. But they get into the stage where they can handle them now without. What you want to try and avoid doing is picking them up by the stems, because unless you're very gentle, you can crush them, and then that's game over for the thing. I mean, you can do it, and to be quite honest, that is what I do. But I don't trust anybody else that works here to do that unless I've got really baby fingers, because if you can crush these so easily, and then the seedlings ruined. So it's much safer with seedlings in general to hold them by hold them by the leaves. You've still got to be gentle. You could do it like that. Once the roots have got a bit more established, they come out a lot more easier anyway. So those are ready. These are some we've sown afterwards, about a week after the others. You can see they're about a week behind probably. They're just starting to make their little second leaves, look. What variety is this? This is Garden Pearl. Ooh, that's a really nice one. We've got Rubylicious. Here's the ones we planted in the first video, and I've got to say, I would be disappointed if I bought these seeds, which I kind of did. I mean, we got them through the company, Thompson Morgan Crystal. I think we said there was 6 seeds, or 5 seeds. There should have been 5, we got 6. Yeah, out of that 6, 2 have come up, maybe 3. What's that? That's a weed. Get rid of that. So that's not a great return, is it? I mean, that'll give us plenty of tomatoes, but if I wanted to, you know, produce these on some kind of scale, that's disappointing. And that's a hybrid variety called Crystal. Same with this one, Akron. It's an F1. I mean, I'm sure they'll be good tomatoes. And even Sungold's been a little bit poor this year, and I've noticed that on some we've got from other suppliers. The Sungold seeds, the Sungold plants this year, again, I do think it's the lack of sunshine. We need the sun, get these things going. Plant can make their own food from the sunshine, but if it's dull and dismal like it is today, then it really can't do anything about it. Anyway, we'll look forward to potting these up. We'll show you that process of putting these into a 9cm pot, and then when they're rooted into that in a similar way that they are in these little cells here, when they've got the same amount of roots in the pot, still growing nicely without using up all of the food supplies, then they will go into a grow bag, or in our case a much larger pot, which will be their forever home, and they can produce lots of tasty tomatoes if we ever get the sunshine. So let's hope we do. We'll come back to this probably tomorrow or later in the week and make some more information. Here's just a load more tomato seeds we put in. Absolutely nothing showing on these at the moment. Oh, I said that, and here they are. They weren't even here this morning. Look at that, just a bit of sunshine today. It really does make a massive difference. Again, these are on a heat pad because it's blooming cold at night still. It's been an unusually cold, dull April. A lot of growers are struggling with that at the moment. Yeah, they're the only ones, but I say that they literally weren't there this morning. Look, there's 3. Oh, there's another one. I've got to get my eyes tested, I think. Oh, and there's another one just coming through here. And on this one as well. Oh, they're just coming through today with a bit of sunshine. How great. However, saying about the sunshine, I can just hear something on the greenhouse. Oh yes, it's snowing. It's actually snowing in April. In fact, snowing inside the greenhouse. That coming through the hole in the roof. It's snowing in here as well. Oh, what a joy. Who would be a gardener? Right then, so welcome to part 2 and a bit of growing tomatoes from seed. These are the ones we looked at the other day. They're now, I'm happy that these have got enough leaf on and enough root on. If I was to just tease them out of there, got good root growth on there without being root bound. So these are looking ideal. They're onto their 3rd set of leaves, just coming in there, look, and they're nice. Lovely healthy tomato plants. In this case we've got, always label them Shirley F1. You can only grow these from seed. If you save the tomatoes and grow them, they won't come true, they won't be the same. So the only way to get Shirley tomatoes like this is to grow them from seed. So what I'm doing is now I'm going into a 9cm pot. This is the next size, and then eventually they'll either go here off for sale at this size, or we will then put, for my tomatoes, our tomatoes that we grow for food, I'll put them into a much bigger pot straight out of this size. But for now, I wouldn't want to put plants this size in a grow bag straight away, just a little bit delicate and small. We'll get them in here, get a good root system going, and then we'll put them into their forever home. So it's not rocket science, very, very easy, but I'm going to show you exactly what to do. We've got this nice loose compost with a little feed in it, minimal. The problem is you don't really want to feed up young tomato plants too much because they just make loads of lush growth and run away with it. You don't really start feeding them properly until they got the first truss of flowers set. So put the compost in loosely and make a little divot about the same size as the plug there. I've done a few already. Nice and loose. Don't want to pack it in, we're not making sandcastles. Nice and loose. Finger there. Let's just do a few. Right, so then the next stage, I'm going to tease these out very delicately. Now you can, if you're extremely gentle, you can lift them by the stems, but it's better practice to hold them by the leaves. That first set of leaves that they made there. Gently drop them in. I'm not going to pack them in and fill them in, just ever so gently firm them like that. A little bit of a squeeze of the cell underneath. Tease him out. If there's any resistance, just go back, squeeze the cell again. The beauty of growing them in cells like this with the individual containers is that they come out, and you're not trying to tease roots apart and pull them and yank them around as if you sow them in a seed tray or something like that. These make it at this stage much easier, and I would recommend you the modular containers if you if you're growing seeds at all, really. Especially for things like tomatoes, courgettes, cucumbers, where you don't want to be damaging them. Okay, so I'm doing those like that. I'm not going to show you me doing them all of them, but they're just to the height level. Then what I do is just tap the tray just to sort of settle them in like that. And then we'll give them a little bit of a gentle water to settle the compost, and they'll go back in the warm. It's still a bit cold at night, and they'll be making their roots. So I hope that's useful. That's say part 2 and a bit, isn't it, of growing tomatoes from seed. The next stage, you'll see us putting these into big pots and getting them ready for the things we do there. Now there's a few ways you can do the next stage: pots, grow bags, straight in the ground outside, or in a pot outside, in a pot without a bottom outside, a pot without a bottom in a grow bag. There's a lot of ways. Hanging baskets for some varieties that tumble, and they do really well. I'll definitely be doing some of those. We got no end of ways to grow tomatoes. They really are a really successful plant, and it doesn't matter that, you know, when these are fruiting, tomatoes are to a penny in the shops, and, you know, at the same time they are very cheap to buy when these are fruiting and they're doing. But it's more about, you grew it yourself. You know, these plants wouldn't exist if we hadn't taken the time and put those seeds in and watched them and nurtured them and watered them, and then panicked a little bit. Like last night, I let them dry out a bit too much and they were all like that, you know. But because we've taken the time to do it, we've got this, we're going to grow our own food, and there's nothing quite like that. Okay, hope you've enjoyed watching that, and we'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. Thanks, bye bye.